Hey guys, so I wanted to talk to you guys about what I'm doing. I'm so excited about it. I am doing a transitional living home. So, long story short, when I was a kid, I used to live in a foster home that was more institutionalized. It was for a group of, foster kids, homeless teens that would come in, and the state would just kind of like take care of us by providing to the house, a monthly stipend amount of money for the employees, for the food, for really everything. And yeah, so that's like one of the types of transitional living homes that exists. And because I grew up in these community housing opportunities, went to homeless shelters, my mom went to homeless shelters and like DV shelters, I grew up very familiar with them and how they operate from the inside out. I never thought I would be looking from the outside in, which is very weird for me to say because I was on the inside, you know what I'm saying? So it's really amazing. And basically, what I'm doing specifically is a sober living home, right? So we are going to be same sex just for safety precautions, so none of our women, are feeling unsafe, and none of our men are feeling, uncomfortable. This way, they're able to really fully recover and, focus on themselves. Because, if you have a big group of people and everyone is, just kind of doing their own thing, it's a good circumstance for a lot of people, I thrived in the type of home where it was a group setting because it was, more independent. I was not good with dependence at all. Like, if you try to make me dependent, I would lose my shiznit. I am not somebody you try to make it dependent. Can't do it. I took care of my mom. I took care of my mom's kids. I was homeless at such a young age. Dealt with drug addiction so young, and I just dealt with a lot of BS, right? Very young. So I'm very independent, and a lot of women and men who are coming into our sober living homes are the same way, and we're just basically a safe place for them to come in from either rehab or jail or wherever they're coming from the streets, and have a temporary home. And they're actually welcome to stay for as long as they want. We don't really have age groups. If you're 18 plus, you're good to go, you're good to come in. We do things on a weekly rate because that's just the easiest solution for us. We don't want to tie our people into 6-month terms because how is that helping anyone? If they are not ready to commit to their own recovery and transitioning into a better life, you can't force them, and that's just a very important factor here, So the only commitments that we have is for 1 week. So if you're there for a week, you need to pay for your week, and they pay before the week begins, not when the week ends, because you don't want people staying for an entire week and then running away without paying, because people will do that, believe it or not. I'm saying that because I used to be like that. So we're very systematic. Having a good system is very important. Having a good foundation is very important. I went in and selected this house. Oh my gosh, it was such a funny story because we actually ended up going full circle with this house. We went to this house before. We're trying to stay underneath a specific budget. We're no, we're not going to go above a certain budget just because we want higher, return, so we can keep rolling over the margins into new homes and new group housing and new transitional living. And we're trying to make it self-sufficient so we can keep going and expanding and creating more for the community. And really, we're no, we can't afford this house, right? And how is that not a surprise in this fucking market? we're realtors, so, you know, hi, I know this market, but this house was actually a little bit more expensive than the houses nearby. But, I mean, so we're like, we're not gonna get this house, but it's so beautiful. It's such good, like, very good bones, like, really, really pretty car. Oh, that's a car. That was a car. There's a car. Sorry. Really pretty house. Sorry, I'm like, there's a beautiful house on corner lot, very pretty, you know, and it was just renovated, super cute. It has a little bit of like functional obsolete, whatever you say that, but like it's a beautiful house and it's in good condition, and like I'm really excited because this is a good house, you know what I'm saying? And like having a transitional home, you need a good house. You can't like go buy the shittiest house on the block and then do nothing to it and be like, yeah, sure, you know. Of course you could buy a really, really ugly house and then fix it up and make it, you know, how this house is, but this house is completely turnkey, like modern day finishes and old, and it's just really cute and big and spacious, and it's set up for exactly what we need to do and what we're wanting to do. I'm gonna come in. So, I'm just really excited about it. And it, like, we had the inspections done. The inspections went great. We have been talking to the town. So when you're doing transitional living, you have to be really connected to like the town. You have to be really connected to the departments within the town. You have to just really be connected. So being connected is very important. You have to speak with the city. You have to speak with the state. And if you're in city limits, you speak with the city. If you're in county limits, you speak with the county. If you are, you know, doing anything, you have to speak with the state always. And then also, you know, make sure you're within your federal, national, whatever. But, you know, city is first, then I do state. I always like to stay within city limits just because city usually is like the best to have jurisdiction over stuff. Sometimes it's not that case, sometimes it's county instead of city. But like where I'm investing is the city limits is just so much better for this. And the people are much more easier to speak with. You know, they're not like rude. They're very helpful, and you need to make sure that where you are going is going to be a place that is going to be easy to work with, because the last thing you want to do is commit to a purchase on a home or leasing a home as like a corporate buyer, and you end up in a situation where the town's like, we don't like you, because that'll happen a lot, you know. So we are luckily in a place that people are very helpful, they're very like open, they're very communicative, you know, they're very responsive, which is amazing. Most towns are not responsive ever, so like the fact that this town is very responsive and on their ball is like amazing. You know, and really I just speak with everyone to ensure that I'm within the safety guidelines. I have safety plans, I have protocols, I have, you know, the rules and regulations I'm following and abiding by, because like this is very important to do. You know, you want your house to be completely to the T, on point, following everything. And that's another reason why you should always like be involved with the departments, because they'll be able to kind of really direct you. I'm not gonna rush in front of a bunch of cars just to turn, so sorry, bud. Like I actually reached out to the fire department because I'm gonna have multiple people in my house, you know what I'm saying? So I need to make sure that the house is safe. You know, I'm gonna have a security system that is recording the outside at all times, just because like, you know, my tenant safety is very important to me. And, you know, I want them to feel safe in this house. This house needs to be a place where they can feel like they have stability. I am gonna be providing like, you know, utilities and really all the things you need to live within the rent amount that they have to pay every week, you know, so they don't have to worry about the added stress of remembering to pay a bill. they just have to focus on paying their rent and learning how to cook for themselves again and learning how to take care of themselves again and learning how to do things independently without people always helping them. Now, they will be in a group setting because that's just kind of the best way to go about it, you know, because you have support, but it's not like codependence. And you have a family to rely on, but it's not like you have to really be involved if you don't want to. So the option is there, the support is there, everything is there for them to choose as they want to do, you know, freely. And yeah, I'm just really excited, you guys. I'm super excited. Super excited. The house is friggin' beautiful. They're so pretty. And yeah, I'm just stoked on life. So in Florida, right, the only way you're going to find out about your state licensing requirements is by speaking with the departments that license, you know, your type of housing. Usually Google can kind of help you figure that one out. If you don't know, you just go to like the city and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Can you please help me? Who do I talk to? You can also hire an attorney. Like, there are many options. But so for me, example, I was able to do it myself. I'm not saying go do it yourself if you don't know how to. I'm just saying I was able to do it myself. And I basically just reached out to everyone. I reached out to the department for like the families, and I reached out to like the state governing bodies, the housing authorities, the city local governments, fire department. I have to reach out to the police department, zoning, code enforcement, like really anything and everything I could discuss with these people, I'm discussing, and I'm doing it in writing just to have like everything, you know, recorded for my own sanity, because I forget everything sometimes. So yeah. And you know, this is what I'm saying is important to have and work in an area where the towns and the cities are very responsive, because if they're not, then how are you supposed to get anything done? You see what I'm saying? So the place that I chose is very responsive. They've helped me, they've guided me, they've connected me, right? They're connecting me to resources, they're connecting me to other programs, they're connecting me to other people and facilities and groups and nonprofits, and like they're connecting me just by nature because they're so amazing, right? And so, you know, this is why I'm saying it's very important. You can do this anywhere, you know, like I was living in a transitional living home at the age of like 14 plus in a completely different state than where I am now, right? So I'm in Florida now, and you know, before I was like all around the world. So not world, but country. So it's possible to do it anywhere, everywhere, you know, for the most part, as long as your state allows it. You're basically good. So the type of transitional living home that I'm doing is recovery focused, sober living focused. We don't provide any medical care. We don't provide any type of involvement when it comes to, you know, more restrictive categories. So like, we can't house people that are not able to independently live. So like, if you need to be assisted in living, I can't house you due to the licensing regulations. So if you can independent live, then you're welcome to come into the house. Now, this is completely by state. It's going to vary. You might be able to do it, you know, differently in your state, your county, but in my state and my county and my city that I'm working in, I can't do assisted living facilities because of the fact that it requires a lot of like regulations. There's a lot of involvement. There's a lot of inspections. There's you have to have like staff on board on time all day, all night, and there's a lot more than what I'm doing. So for assisted living facilities or like handling anything with people that are 18 or younger, I have to go through intensive background and fingerprinting and just like inspections and licensure, and I'm going to be doing that, right? So if you are going to follow my story, you'll be able to kind of see how I get into that. But for right now, what I'm doing is just sober living, right? Because sober living is similar to these other forms of group housing, community housing, whatever you want to call it. There's so many fudging names, and yes, I just said fudging, but there's so many names, and they all have different meanings, and they all mean the same thing. It's all weird. So I'm doing it this way because it's an easier way to get started, to see if I like what I'm doing. And I know I'm gonna love what I'm doing because I'm already ecstatic about it. I already am super excited. Like, I'm just all for it because I've lived from the inside. Now I'm on the outside, and like, you know, it's an amazing full circle thing. And, you know, that you should focus on doing something that's less regulated at first, I guess. You know, not saying that there's no regulations, because I do have to follow them, but just like less in comparison to the more involved category and level of what I do, is because you want to make sure that you like what you're doing. You know, you don't want to be doing it and then deciding like, oh, fudge sickles, I don't like this at all, you know, because it would be horrible. It'd be horrible for you and them. And you really have to commit here. Like, you have to be a stable foundation for your home and for your people. Like, these are your people, you understand what I'm saying? Like, you have to protect them. You have to make sure that they're safe. You have to make sure they have resources. Like, you really have to ensure that their quality of life is taken very seriously. And like, if you have a property manager, you have to make sure that that property manager is going to be like on the same level, because like I do property management for like properties that I have interest in, that I've been named single, is it a single agent? I'm like I have a power of attorney over, I do a lot. Okay. And I take my thing, God, I'm sorry, I have a nose itch. I take my job very seriously. I'm very OCD about it, and that's because when I was growing up, I never had it. So I have more to lose, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I say I have more to lose, I mean in the sense of like my sanity, okay? Because coming from the ground up, you learn what it's like to have nothing very quickly. So I have nothing to lose when it comes to really giving my all and going full force into anything that I'm doing. And that's why I'm so serious and like very, very passionate about anything that I do, you know, because it's very important. You can't get into something and be like, oh, you know, I don't want to do this anymore, and you have like 5 residents, you know, like, you can't do that. You cannot do that in these types of homes. You are what these people are gonna be relying off of, you know. Maybe that's indirectly, maybe that's directly because you're involved. It doesn't matter. You're still gonna be that point, you know. So if you fail in any category, they fail, you know what I'm saying? You need your people to understand that they are supported, that they have the resources, that you're gonna be there for them. They can call you anytime. Me and my tenants on my standard leases, oh my goodness, they'll text me a freaking midnight. I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's good? Oh, you need something? Okay, cool. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if my tenants message me at weird hours of the night, because, like, they're my people. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're living in my properties. They're living in my partners and friends and families and customers and clients' properties. And it's like, if you're in my circle, you're a part of my circle, you know what I'm saying? So I take you very seriously. I give you the respect that I would expect in return. Like, I'm very loyal and I'm very caring, and you have to have those characteristics in this business, or else you're not going to do good. And you don't want to not do good in these businesses, because then you're affecting so many people, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, it's just like a really bad thing. So you need to make sure that you're going to commit. Like, there's no, oh, you know, maybe I'll get my toes wet and then not commit. You know, if you're going to do that, go in with a backup plan with somebody else that will commit. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you're somebody that has capital, let's say, then find somebody else who wants to do the management. You know, like me and my friends, this is what we do. Like, they don't even live near me. They're like, hey, looking for an investment, and I'm looking for something that will give back at the same time and like really, you know, create something good. And I'm like, okay, cool, I got you. You know, and this is why we're privately ran. This is why we're self-efficient, because we are actual investors. We're real estate investors, you know. And so we're coming from like a different angle and becoming self-sufficient off of our own properties so we can keep on growing our property base and our portfolio with them, because like we're making the community a better place. You know what I'm saying? And that's very important to me. Like, I want to help people while I'm doing my passion. And if I can do that while following my passion and like doing what I had to from the inside out as a kid, like, or from the outside in now, like, that's fucking amazing. Shit. You know, I know how hard it is coming out of foster care. I know how hard it is coming out of homelessness. I know how hard it is coming out of addiction. And I think that kind of gives me an advantage, because if you kind of choose somebody that doesn't know what it's like to go through those things, you know, then they don't really understand the people. You know, you need somebody in there that understands the people, because the people are what is going to be able to grow, you know, and it's very important. And they grow, you grow. And you know, it's like a recycling symbol, you know, you just keep going and just keep going. And yeah, so, you know, is that a bee? I don't know what that was, but so if you are somebody who's coming from homelessness, is coming from addiction, and you're in recovery, you're coming from being a foster kid, you had so much against you, you know, maybe you were like discriminated against your entire life, maybe you were like locked up, maybe someone stole you, I don't know, like there's so much shit, right? Like I had friends that got sex trafficked. Okay, we get the point. But they went through that, and like I actually almost fell victim to that many times, and like I'm familiar with it. I'm familiar with the red signs. I can read the energy shifting. I can feel it, you know, like I was growing up in those conditions, so it gives me the advantage to be able to realize it. So if something like that is going on, I can be like, step in and get involved and get my departments from my state and city involved, and we can kind of try to refocus on better things rather than, you know, just allowing people to completely destroy their lives. And, you know, like I was saying, we do it on a weekly basis for the rentals, because you can't change someone that doesn't want to be changed, you know what I'm saying? So like if somebody wants to be changed, they'll allow you to kind of help them and redirect them, and they'll stick around. If somebody doesn't want to change and want to go back to streets or whatever, like they're gonna go back to the fucking streets, you know. And I'm just gonna be like very direct right now, because like there's no other way to go about it. But like, you can only help those that want to be helped, and if people are coming there, they're doing as much as they can, and that's all that matters. And if they'll accept your help, you have to give them your help. You have to provide it where it's there, you know, and just give them the opportunity. They can deny your opportunity, you know, you can't force the opportunity down their throat, but like, you give them that opportunity, and if they are ready, they will take it. And it's the most beautiful thing, because like, just for an example, right, I'll use myself. I was homeless, addicted to drugs. I was supposed to be in fucking, you know, like my foresight into the future was I was supposed to go to prison and, you know, live a really horrible life, because I was addicted to drugs and homeless, and I had a really bad upbringing. Like my stepdad was abusive in every fucking way possible. You know, and like I was homeless so young, and like the odds were against me, right? And like, I went to these homes. I went into really supportive foster homes. I went into transitional homes. I was like hanging out with people who were in transitional homes, and I was going to programs, and like I was not perfect, right? I had issues. I'd relapse. I'd have my problems. I would go into moments where I was not doing good, but overall, those little foundations and point of my life, those helped me now get to where I am today. Now I'm a realtor. I own properties. I invest. I work with millionaires. You know, one day I hope to be a millionaire and maybe even billionaire. And those futures are more possible now because of what I went through and where I had to be. And that's what I'm hoping to give back to my people, because like without my people, I wouldn't be anything. So that's really my schmeal. So you know? Like, if you feel there was a disadvantage against you for whatever reason, I encourage, oh my God. That was a freaking carpenter bee. Carpenter bee. I hate those things. But if you felt there was something against you at any point in your life, by all means, I encourage you to step forward and to believe in yourself and to keep going and to follow my journey, because you'll be able to learn from me for free. This is free, completely free. And hopefully you'll be able to accomplish any dream that you want to in your life, you know? Doesn't matter how big or unrealistic it seems. Like, the most like owning a home, it was so unheard of for me. Like, I thought I was supposed to be in fucking prison, you know? Like, addicted to drugs, never seeing the day again, you know? And, you know, through my recovery and through my consistency and resilience, now my future has changed, and that can happen for anyone. Literally anyone. Doesn't matter how bad you had it, you can completely reverse everything and do a full 180. So, yeah. Peace out, guys. Sorry for the long ramble, but I hope it helped. And if you have any questions, feel free to text me, 201-952-4665. Email me at the email that's in the description, either below or above. And, yeah, hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.